Chairman Durbin, thank you for holding this hearing. We're talking about a serious issue that impacts the youth of our nation, but it also threatens the legal tobacco industry. When the FDA banned legitimate flavored vapes, it opened the doors to cheap Chinese knockoffs that flooded the market. And even though these imported vapes are mostly illegal, there's been little done in the way of enforcement. There's been a 1,500%, a 15-time increase in kid-friendly flavors sold from 2020 to 2023. Among youth who reported e-cigarette use, more than 25% of them used it daily, and over a third used it at least 20 days a month. It's also worth noting that tobacco is my state's oldest industry. North Carolina leads the country in tobacco farming and manufacturing, supporting over 27,000 jobs in the state. Nobody wants kids and teenagers using e-cigarettes, especially illegal and counterfeit products that are being dumped in the U.S. by China's state-controlled tobacco monopoly, which is why I voted in favor of raising the age to purchase tobacco products to 21. While youth e-cigarette use has decreased by 60% since 2019, the peak of 5.3 million, according to the National Youth Tobacco Survey, FDA's lack of guidance, lack of transparency, and lack of enforcement has allowed the CCP and organized crime to flood the U.S. with dangerous, illicit vapes. FDA's refusal to follow congressional intent and implement the Tobacco Control Act has led to disastrous consequences for public health and American jobs. Now, conveniently, 2 days before this hearing, the FDA has announced an interagency task force to tackle this issue that has plagued our country for years. This thinly veiled political stunt comes 2.5 years after the Reagan-Udall Foundation report was released with this very recommendation. If the timing of the task force formation wasn't evidence enough of how unserious the FDA is about tackling the flood of illicit e-cigarettes in the U.S., FDA's exclusion of CBP from the task force makes it crystal clear. The FDA cannot create a functioning market of regulated tobacco products through fines and warning letters alone. The FDA must create a consistent, transparent, science-based review process for reviewing applications for new tobacco products. FDA's current process is broken. The FDA has currently 560,000 pending applications, including more than 557,000 for e-cigarettes. To date, the FDA has only approved 0.001% of all e-cigarette applications it has received. In fact, it's been more than 2 years since the FDA authorized a new product, and the Center for Tobacco Products has never authorized a new e-cigarette product under Director King's leadership. The result of FDA's de facto ban on regulated, reduced-risk alternatives for adult smokers is exactly what has caused the convening of this committee today: the youth vaping epidemic and the lack of enforcement against illegal cigarettes. Furthermore, it's worth mentioning today that there is also a plague of illicit counterfeit THC vape products entering the U.S. Much of this is related to Chinese imports, and many of the health problems often associated with vaping actually stems from fake, dirty THC vapes that contain dangerous additives. We now see the Eastern Band of the Cherokee has decided to start selling THC-based products in western North Carolina because they're within their sovereign territory. I have no doubt that they are probably putting something on the shelf that people think are safe, that are THC-based products that the behavioral health profession says is becoming one of the leading causes of psychotic events, these supposedly legal products that you can buy in North Carolina where THC products are not allowed, technically allowed. So I look forward to a robust conversation today, and maybe we can get to a point to where we can bend the curve on and hold anyone out to dry, quite frankly, if we find evidence that they are marketing to our nation's youth. This is a major public health threat. It's a major threat that I think is being perpetrated in large part by China. And Mr. Chair, I appreciate you convening the hearing today so that we can air it.
Thank you, Senator.